Don't look at where someone else is today. Don't look at where they start. Look at how they got there, what they had to do to get there. Because if you do the right things, anything can happen to you. What would I like out of this interview, Erica? Let me tell you what I'd like out of this. You started off by asking me where I'm coming from, my mother and her story. I know you're talking about where I'm at today, right? If someone saw me today, it would have been near impossibility that they would think that I and my mother started off being adopted, the two of us.
Right.
You wouldn't, right?
Right. The assumption would have been that you came from means, from family.
Or exactly. Yeah. So what the point, the main point here should be, don't look at where someone else is today. Yeah. Don't look at where they start. Look at how they got there, what they had to do to get there. Because if you do the right things, anything can happen to you. Yes. It's not where you started from. Yes. That is important, right? Yes. So that's the message I want to get to every Jamaican. Yes. Right? We're powerful beyond measure.
Yes.
Right? And we shouldn't. We have to be careful as to the exposures we have to dumb us down.
Yes.
Right? So, CNN now, cancer, CNN. So in 2018, a friend of mine called me and said, Mike, as you know, I have prostate cancer. And when you have prostate cancer, Erica, which is rampant in Jamaica, by the way.
It is.
When you have prostate cancer, the escalating protocol of treatments that you go through would include, number one, a prostatectomy, a removal of your prostate.
Yeah.
Number two, and for a man, that's horrible.
Yes.
Right? Yes. Number two, if your PSA level is still high, meaning that's a cancer marker in your blood.
Right.
That detects whether cancer is still there.
Right.
If it is still high, they give you radiation, external beam radiation. If it is still high after the external beam radiation, it means that it had metastasized throughout your body, but they don't know where it is.
Right.
So they flood your body with chemotherapy.
Yes.
Which is brutal. It poisons your body.
Yes.
So my friend got a prostatectomy. He also got external beam radiation. And his PSA level after that was still high.
Wow.
So it had metastasized. He said, the doctor said, the next step is to get chemotherapy. Yes. He said, I don't want chemotherapy, which is what's chemotherapy and androgen deprivation therapy. It's like female hormone, right?
Yes. Yes.
He said, I don't want that. So the doctor said, well, there's an alternative, but we don't have it here in North America, but it's in Germany.
Yes.
And there's this guy in Germany, his name is Dr. Richard Baum. And he's practicing this, has been practicing for the last 20 years, this treatment referred to as PRRT, peptide receptor radionuclide therapy. Right. So he should go and see Dr. Baum. So he went to Germany, and the first day he got into the clinic, before seeing Dr. Baum, he met this American gentleman. And the American gentleman was telling him his experience with prostate cancer. He said about 20 years before they met, he had prostate cancer, and he went through all the escalating protocol. Yeah. Prostatectomy, radiation, chemotherapy, and the cancer still came back.
Wow.
So now his hospital, Johns Hopkins, said your end state, meaning you're gonna die. There's nothing, you're now palliative. Nothing more we can do for you.
Right.
But there's this guy in Germany, Dr. Baum, practicing this novel treatment, PRRT. We go and see him.
Right.
So he went and saw Dr. Baum. This is 20 years prior to my friend meeting him. When he got there, Dr. Baum treated him. But when he got there, Erica, his PSA level was 2,000. Normal is less than 3. His was 2,000.
Oh, okay.
So it was all over. He was riddled.
Yes.
He had cancer in his brain, cancer in his bones, cancer in his lungs. Dr. Baum treated him. When he went back to America, he went back to Johns Hopkins and they tested him. And he had no more cancer in his brain, no more cancer in his lungs, no more cancer in his bones. His PSA level went from 2,000 to 0.6.
Wow.
And he has been cancer.
I don't even know how much degree reduction, how much percentage.
Exactly.
Yes.
99.999999. Right?
Yes.
So, and he's still cancer free. So Richard, my friend, met him in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, Richard, when you meet Dr. Baum, ask him 2 questions for me. The first is this method of treatment applicable to colon cancer? Because my mother has colon cancer. And number 2, would he allow me to start an offshoot clinic of his in Jamaica? Because this is not available in North America. So all I could see is if he allowed me to start an offshoot clinic was to bring all of the North American male population who are suffering from to be treated in Jamaica, plus treat Jamaicans.
Yes.
And that would be the basis for a health tourism industry. That was what I saw, right?
Okay.
So now the next day he called me and said, Mike, I spoke to Dr. Baum, and this is April. He said, Dr. Baum said.
This is April 2022.
No, 2018.
2018, okay.
I spoke to Dr. Baum and he said he's coming to America to deliver at a radionuclide conference in Philadelphia in June of this year, June of 2018.
Right.
2 months later. 2 months later.
Mm-hmm.
So you can come and meet him. Dr. Baum is giving. So I went this date and met Dr. Baum.
Mm-hmm.
We chatted and he brought with him a friend of his by the name of Oliver Buck, German. They're both German.
Right.
So three of us got along really well. So Oliver Buck said to me, Mike, next time you come to Germany, come and see me. I'll show you my business. He supplies Dr. Baum with the radioisotope lutetium-177.
Okay.
His company ITM does that, right?
Yes.
So I said, okay, I'm coming in July, actually. I'm coming to Italy. Well, I just passed by Munich.
Right.
So I went to Munich. Within half an hour, I found myself on the campus of the Technical University of Munich. Within half an hour of that, I found myself in the Bavarian government nuclear reactor on campus.
Mm-hmm.
Oliver showing me how they make lutetium-177, which is the isotope used to cure cancer, right? So I was fascinated, Erica. He took me back into his office and he's explained to me the business and the science behind it. Right? So he said, Mike, we basically have a quasi-monopoly on this isotope. I said, really? Tell me why.
What's a quasi-monopoly?
It's nearly a monopoly, a near monopoly.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
A near monopoly. So I said, tell me why. So he told me. So I said, Oliver, I would like to invest in your business.
Wow.
Right? He said, Mike, over the last 2 weeks since I came, having met you, I came back. I spoke to my board of directors and told them about you, and we researched you.
Okay.
And they've asked me to ask you if you join the board as a board member.
Okay.
So I said, Oliver, I'll join the board if I'm a shareholder of this company. Cancer affects everybody.
Yes.
And I was fortunate to have found a company that is at the epicenter of this modality of treatment that is disrupting traditional chemotherapy and external beam radiation. It's disrupting both.
Yes.
It's treating both are brutal. As soon as you hear chemotherapy, you run for you get depressed.
Yes.
As soon as you hear external beam radiation, you get depressed because you know it's awful times coming. So now, but this form of treatment is the following. I'll explain it. It's explained to you, Erica. Every type of cancer cell has a receptor on the surface of the cell, right? A specific receptor.
Yeah.
And what we do, we find a protein molecule that is attracted to that particular receptor. So once we find the molecule, it's like magnets and iron shavings.
Right.
So the protein molecule will go straight to that particular receptor. So we now attach to that protein molecule a radioisotope by the name of gallium-68. And the protein molecule takes the gallium-68 to the receptor on the cancerous cells, wherever they are in your body. So, and now the gallium-68 lights up the PET scan.
So then this.
So we can see where the cancer is. So it lights up on the PET scan.
Right. And it doesn't destroy your entire body. It goes directly to the cancer.
No, it just goes straight to this cancer cells. But that is the diagnosis.
Right.
Now there's the therapeutic part of it comes next. Because once we can see it, we can treat it. Yes. In other words, there's no maybe anymore.
Yes.
Right? So once we can see it, we can treat it. So what we now do is take the peptide, the protein molecule, and attach to it another radioisotope by the name of lutetium, Lu-177. Right? And the lutetium is taken to the receptor, wherever they are in your body, and the lutetium emits beta rays, which are 2 millimeters in length, and zaps only the cancerous cells and leaving neighboring cells alone, wherever they are in your body. Because the healthy neighboring cells are left unaffected, you don't have any side effects.
Boy, that sounds like a unicorn to me.
It's have two, ITM and Telix. Okay, and radiomedics is coming. You just saw radiomedics.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
So that's it. That's the science behind it. Now, ITM, all of a sudden, a lot of companies realize that this modality of treating cancer is very robust and it's applicable to all types of cancers. So a lot of companies are now getting into the business.
Yes.
But they need to get their lutetium from ITM. So you can't come into the business unless you come to us for the lutetium.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So recently, Novartis, you know,
Novartis, yes.
Novartis, they got approval for their prostate drug. It's called Pluvicto, Pluvicto, Pluvicto. We supply them with the lutetium. They got FDA approval, so it's not approved in America.
Right.
It's approved in Canada and it's approved in the UK. So that's how I got involved, because my friend had cancer. And I came across, I went through the process, came across the company, invested in it, and realized this is a company of the future. And it's a company that I want to be involved with because it is addressing one of mankind's most unmet need.
All right. Explain that for me, for the ordinary man. When you say go nuclear, how is that? We're talking about all of the environmental issues that we're now having, either through man-made or natural disasters. How much of this is related to our practices, our environmental practices, and how will nuclear energy bring that to the livable level so that those of us who are around in 2050, we can survive?
Exactly, good question. So our problems with carbon is a function of our insatiable need to consume.
Yes.
Right? Or insatiable need to consume. You can't go to a country and say to the country, don't consume anymore. Don't have your people aspire to go from poverty to become middle class so they can buy a car and buy more clothes, buy more everything, right? You can't ask a country to do that.
Right.
So the demand side of the equation, which is consumption, is going to be increasing.
Yes.
So carbon left unabated will choke us.
Yes, definitely.
And will choke us. That's for sure, if left unabated. So we need to replace carbon emitting sources of fuel with fuels that are non-carbon emitting. Right? Sun, solar, wind, and nuclear. Nuclear is non-carbon emitting.
Right.
But sometimes the sun don't shine.
Yes.
Sometimes the wind don't blow.
Right.
So you need that constant source of energy.
Yes, that fulcrum to turn.
Exactly. And that constant source of energy is now being provided by fossil fuels.
Okay.
So we need to replace that existing source of energy now being provided by fossil fuels with one that has no carbon output. Okay. Which is nuclear.
Right.
Now, when you talk about nuclear, people say, "Whoa, it's a bomb."
Yes.
That's a misconception.
Right.
That's a misconception, because think about, and that is a function of 3 experiences that we have had in recent memories. Number 1, Fukushima in Japan. Right? Number 2, Chernobyl in the Ukraine. And number 3, 3 Mile Island in America. Those 3 experiences, they were old technology. Safety, the new technology replacement, nuclear plant is referred to as SMR, small modular reactors. Those are the modern reactors. They're now very safe. They can be manufactured in a plant and shipped like en masse, right?
Yes.
So they're called SMRs. So the new generation is called SMR, small modular reactor, right?
So now, those will make the environment safer.
Yes, because it's still nuclear, but and it doesn't give out carbon.
Right.
And if you think, just one way for the public to really look at it is the following: there are hundreds of nuclear submarines sailing around the world, and nuclear warships propelled by nuclear sailing around the world. When was the last time you heard of any melting down? You never. So they're safe. So you see, it's a safety issue, or the safety concerns coming from those 3 experiences that scare everybody. But we'll get over that, because there's a bigger problem. We're gonna all die from the carbon.
Yes.
Right.
Well,
and nuclear is not unsafe.
Yes.
Okay. So Jamaica. So now we have an opportunity in Jamaica, because as I said, having energy is really the basis for industrialization.
Yes. Yes. I'm seeing where you're going now.
Having the energy is the basis for industrialization. So if we could, we'll have to get off of the fossil fuel diet and get onto nuclear.
Yes.
And so we now have an opportunity to put in small modular reactors in Jamaica, which we can now have a source of energy around which we can have energy security and energy independence. You with me?
Yes. How you know, one of the most difficult things with Jamaicans though is the education. We are so distrustful of our governance process and systems that we don't believe what is told to us. What should the public education start now?
It has to start now. And it's gonna, Erica, it has started, it's starting with this article.
Okay.
It's starting with this article because every country has to go net zero. Nuclear is the only option. We may as well get on the bandwagon now. It's not unsafe.
Yes.
And we may as well figure out how we're going to do it. It has to be a part of our energy mix, along with solar and wind.
Yes.
Right? But we have an opportunity now to get energy independence.
Yes.
And having energy so we can build an industrial base.
Mm-hmm.
So, for instance, if we had energy, our own source of energy, we would not have to be exporting bauxite to Mississippi and Kitimat, BC, Canada.
Yes.
We could smelt the bauxite right here in Jamaica, create aluminum right here in Jamaica, which is where the value add is. We export dirt. They take the dirt and make all the money from it.
Right.
And we just exporting the dirt.
And give us back a change.
So we know if we had a source of consistent energy, inexpensive, consistent energy, we could do that ourselves.
Yes.
So we have.
Do we have the manufacturing capacity for that, or we need to start the build out now?
Manufacturing capacity for what?
Well, for example, to stops and dirt. What do we need to do for stops and dirt?
Once we have a source of reliable energy, industries will come.
So the focus
it's a precondition.
The energy first, and then everything
and
else
then
will come.
People will come. Energy investments will go into the area.
Yes.
So we have an opportunity to solve the energy problem, and kill two birds with one stone. Not only are we gonna fulfill our mandate of net zero carbon, but we can also build industries that we didn't have before, and create better employment, more high value employment for our people.
Yes, and I can see the spin-off. Maybe so many of our own people wouldn't be heading north; they would be
exactly. Okay, so now you get the picture. So let me step back a little bit. So countries today, because of this nuclear boogeyman, they have been at a time when they should be increasing their nuclear expertise because of politics.
Yes.
They have been decreasing their dependence on nuclear power.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, Germany went from 11 nuclear plants to 3. France went from 30 to 7. Right? But now you have the Ukrainian war, and they're realizing, oh my gosh, the Russians cut the gas off. So what they're doing in Germany is rekindling their coal plants, which is going back to the 19th century.
Right.
So we're not progressing. We're going back because of politics. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And not leadership. Politics versus leadership.
No. Just when you said that finally cemented for me the nuclear independence that you're talking about, the energy independence.
Yes.
That you're talking about, because all of those countries were depending on gas from Europe, because from Russia, because they've had to take action now. They find themselves without gas and not knowing what to do. So
they have to start up the coal plants.
They're waking up the dead.
We're waking up the dead, so we're gonna kill ourselves faster.
Yeah.
So now.
Yeah.
So the point is, at that time, they haven't built a nuclear plant in America for 30 years.
Yes.
So at a time when we have the most carbon emissions, we have less nuclear and diminishing nuclear, when you should have more nuclear to substitute.
Right. And to reduce the carbon emissions, which are the reasons for a number of other environmental catastrophes that we're having.
Exactly.
It goes to the climate change, it goes to all the floodings, the drought, and all of that.